Hello, hello, you beautiful soul, and welcome to the Unapologetic You podcast with Kiana van Deurse, your coach and also your host. This is actually quite incredible because this is the first time that I am saying the Unapologetic You without an extra intro, which means that I already introduced it, and it is super, super, super excited for me to finally operate from the Unapologetic You. In the last podcast, we already talked a little bit about my journey, about the moment that the curtain pulled back. It was liberation letter number one. And in this episode, we're going to move a little bit forward. We're going to look at liberation letter number two. However, this one is even going to be a bit more intense, at least for me. It's going to be intense to talk about. I'm already getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Because this is, for me, the letter that I never wanted to write, but it also was kind of the one that saved my life. It's really intense thinking back to about that period in my life, but it's also one of the moments that shaped me the most, that brought me the most to the Kiana that I am today. So I'm actually really, really grateful for everything, for every situation that came on my path. And this is somehow so exciting, but also so nerve wracking to speak about. If you do hear my voice crack, don't mind. I'm doing good right now. At the time I wasn't, but right now, nowadays, I'm really happy. I'm happy with the version of Kiana that I became. And all these moments, the heartbreak, the pain, the physical pain, well, brought me basically to where I am today. So thank you, universe, for giving me this beautiful, beautiful journey. So let me take you on this adventure. Liberation letter number two. Are you ready for it? I do recommend you sit down or you just make yourself a little bit comfortable and listen to this. You can also read it if you go to my newsletter, if you sign up via the link on my Instagram or the link below. You can sign up for my newsletter so you never miss out on any crazy things that pop up in the unapologetic you again. So let's do it. This is the letter I never wanted to write, but also the one that saved my life. I fell apart hard, not gracefully, also not politely or poetically, just really honestly, the kind of collapse that rips through your chest and leaves you gasping in the quiet. 6 years of a shared life cracked open underneath me, and suddenly everything I had built felt weightless. It felt like it was gone. And I wouldn't say that it was dramatic, but it was just true. And the truth can be brutal when you finally stop fighting it. People love to call it a quarter life crisis. And I think it sounds cute and convenient, but this was absolutely not a crisis that I walked into. It was a crisis that happened to me. A chain of moments and misalignments, or also events that finally pushed the truth through the surface that neither of us could ignore anymore. The breakup wasn't a decision, but more of an inevitability. A collapse that had been waiting quietly for some time now. And when it came, it hurt. It ripped through my identity and it stripped my comfort. It stole the life I thought I'd keep, but it also set me free. The fire that outgrew its container. I didn't break because I wasn't enough. I broke because I had become too much for the life I was living. Not too emotional, also not too intense or too sexual, neither too expressive. I was just too big for a space that wasn't meant to hold the woman that I was becoming. And I never watered myself down. I never pretended. I never tried to be smaller. There simply just wasn't enough room for me and for my inner world because it was expanding faster than the life around me could stretch. And then when something inside you grows like that, what is not meant to stay, good God, everything collapses. The breakup shattered me. There is no way to sugarcoat it, honestly, because it wasn't just heartbreak. It was, for me, mainly disorientation and fear. And it was the ache of being suddenly alone after 6 years of, well, weaving someone else into every corner of your life. But that pain became my portal into radical honesty. The kind of honesty where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and confront the one truth that you've been avoiding. You can no longer be the woman who survived by dimming her inner voice, even unintentionally. And this wasn't about blame, this was just about the truth, my truth, finally. Well, so I left. I left. And I flew to the only city that was loud enough to match the chaos inside of me. I flew to New York City. And just saying this in this exact moment gives me goosebumps and tears because this happened a year ago. And since that year ago, I already went to New York again 3 times because every single time that something huge in my life happens, I decide to go to the city that never sleeps and the only city that I have been to so far that can hold my fire. I think New York is a city where you can reinvent yourself or disappear entirely. A city that doesn't really hold your hand, but it holds a mirror to your soul. And somehow, walking these streets with all that chaos inside feels like coming home. Not to a place, but to myself. And in New York, every time I realize that I have never been too much, I have simply never been in a space big enough for me and my support system in the city showed me that. So for the first time, I felt held and I felt seen and I felt allowed. And the woman I had been suppressing, not intentionally, but inevitably, finally stepped forward. There is a whisper to my past self. Because if I could speak to the woman I was in the days after the breakup, I would tell her only one thing. Sit with it, Kiana. Feel every second. Because this pain is not your enemy. This pain is your invitation and your initiation. Because I personally think that that collapse was not the end. It was just the beginning of something so much bigger. The beginning of the life that always was meant for me. And the beginning of the woman who refuses to abandon herself ever again. It was the beginning of the woman writing you this letter right now. And not that I only wrote this letter, or not that I only write this letter, I also just read it out loud. While my voice was cracking up, while I got goosebumps all over my body, and while I'm looking at the Dubai skyline out of my apartment. In this exact moment, I'm sitting at my desk. I'm looking at all the city lights. And I'm actually just feeling really grateful because this was really intense for me to share. Even though I wrote about it already, and even though it happened to me a long time ago, this is such a big part of the woman that I am today. This is such a big part of this sexual being, of this unapologetic soul that I am today. So I'm grateful. I am grateful for all the experiences that have shaped me, even though they were painful. But apparently they were necessary. So yeah. Thank you again, beautiful soul, for being here, for listening to Liberation Letter number 2. If you haven't checked out the first one, I absolutely recommend you do that because there's also going to be a third one, and then the manifesto is following. But for these, you will have to stay tuned a little bit longer, and I'm really excited to share this with you soon. Please again give me your thoughts, either here in the comments, reach out to me per DM via WhatsApp, whatever works best for you, because I'm really excited to share my journey with you. This journey to the unapologetic self. Thank you.